Okay, we're going to go ahead and get started to the first YMCA Store Camps Zoom meeting of the season for our families. And we also have several of our staff members and volunteers I see that have joined us tonight. I'm Becky Spencer and I'm in charge of camp. And we wanted to fill you in tonight on what you can expect this summer. And so your kids are all prepared. And we've been working very hard for several months to get to where we are today. This is how we're going to handle questions in the chat room. If you could put your questions up, and then Derek Bycraft, who has been handling all of our registrations and is our program director for mission advancement at YMCA Store Camps, he'll be answering them or putting links in there as we go along, as we move along in the meeting. And then at the end, we'll open it up to some questions and answers if there's some reoccurring themes within the questions. I would also ask you to please, if there's something really specific just to your family, send us an email at ymcastorecamps.org or call the office. Emails are working better these days because we are so busy, but call or email and we'll get back with you on your individual questions that might concern your family. So I'm going to start with some introductions. I'm Becky Spencer. I have worked for the YMCA for 40 years and my career started at YMCA Store Camps. And somehow in 2014, I ended up back at camp, and a lot of you will recognize me from check-in days. I'm overall in charge of our strategy, our board members, our fundraising, and this year a whole lot more as well. Nancy Berger, if Nancy could wave at everybody. Nancy is our senior program director that's been responsible for hiring, and she is everything compliance. We are accredited by the American Camping Association. We are licensed through the LARA, L-A-R-A are the acronyms for overnight camps and day camps in Michigan. We have health inspections. We have all sorts of people that we report to and respond to on a regular basis. And Nancy will also be overseeing the kitchen this summer. And she's been really helping out a lot with our hiring and getting things ready for summer. And she's been busy with our outdoor education program these last couple of months as well, bringing schools back for day programs. So that's Nancy. And Abimbola Fajobi is our returning summer camp director. Many of you will recognize him from before 2017. He was here for about 20 some years, and we are borrowing him this summer from the YMCA of Greater Toledo, our YMCA. He's the director of Christian missions, and we thought it would be great if he could come back and be our summer camp director for 2021. So he'll be sharing a little bit more about programming in a little bit. I introduced Derek, and there you are, Derek. And we're very, really grateful to Derek because he's been able to learn and manage our new Camp Minder program for us, as well a plethora of other skills. And he also manages our Camp Catch a Rainbow program. It's a program for children with cancer. So that's the staff team that you're going to see today. And we also have several staff members here that have joined just to be part of the Zoom tonight. It's good to see you all. And we even have one of our guests, not guests, we have an alumni camp counselor, Betsy, I see, that will be helping us out in July this summer as well. So there we go. And we are also very excited to share that we have many, many returning counselors and many people from our leadership team last summer. And we are thrilled to have everybody back, along with our new staff that we've hired to create and provide a magical experience for all of your kids. I'm going to turn the agenda over to Derek in just a second. We're going to talk about different things like what to expect at check-in and check-out. We're going to talk about some of the mitigation practices, some of the activities the kids are going to be doing, and meal service tonight. And hopefully we'll be able to answer your questions as we're talking, and then we'll respond later to the themed out questions. So Derek, if you could just talk about check-in, please.
Will do. So hi, everyone. If you are familiar with this voice but not this face, congratulations, you finally get to see it. I am one of the few folks who answers a lot of the phone calls in the office. So either congratulations or I'm sorry, you now have to put a face to the person you speak to on the phone. And sorry it's a little drowned out. We do have a beautiful sunset that's going to be coming over here at Stony Lake in just a little bit this evening. So I'm going to enjoy that out of these windows. But as Becky said, I'm going to talk about the beginning and the ends of your camper's stay here at camp. And then all of our other staff will talk about everything in the middle. So for our check-in procedures, if you are coming for session 1, session 1A, or 1C, you will be coming on Sunday, June 20th between 2 and 4 o'clock to check in. If you are coming for session 1B, you will be coming on Sunday, June 27th. And if you're coming for 1D, which is our new adventurer session that we added in, we will see you on Wednesday, June 23rd. So a lot of different dates in there, but the next information applies to all of those, regardless of which date that you are checking in on. So our check-in days will be taking place from 2 to 4 o'clock p.m. at Malachi Dining Hall. So this is not the main office address of 6941, but it's actually just a little bit down the road. In fact, a lot of times if you put in 6701 North Stony Lake Road, that'll actually take you to Malachi Dining Hall. It's just a little west of our main entrance, and it'll have a big sign that says Malachi Dining Hall in front of it, a big blue flag waving to welcome you in. And that's where we will be having our check-in for our campers. Now for check-in this year, if you came last year, it is very similar, but if you've never come before, we are asking that only one adult comes with each camper or each camper family to camp this summer. We're trying to reduce as much contact as possible between any family members while here. So we do ask that each family member or each family only brings one adult to check campers in. Now, when you arrive, you and your camper will have a quick health screening. So we will ask you just a few questions that I'm sure a lot of you have become accustomed to at this point. Have you experienced COVID-like symptoms in the last 14 days? Have you been exposed to someone who has tested positive for COVID and so forth? And we will also do a quick temperature check through a forehead scan on the thermometer. Once you have been cleared of the health check, you will be able to start the check-in process with your camper. You'll bring all of their luggage up to the check-in area in the dining hall, and we'll make sure all of your paperwork is good to go. Once we have completed that, your camper will continue on to our health station, where if you are bringing any medications to camp, you will then drop them off after being checked in. Now, it is very important when you bring these medications to camp that you bring them in the original container that you got them from. So if you have a prescription that your camper is going to take while at camp, it's very important that it comes in the original bottle that was given to you by the pharmacy, that has all the directions on the bottle of how to administer it and what that medication is. If you bring just a little baggie that has some pills in it, unfortunately, we cannot distribute that to your camper. So please make sure any medications you bring are in the original container. And what really helps out is if you actually put it in a little Ziploc baggie with your camper's name on it, just so that way we can ensure that all the medication is stored properly and administered to the correct camper. Once that's all set, we will have your camper do a quick lice check. And once everything has been completed in those 3 steps, we will then have your camper go with our staff members and be taken down to their cabins. Now, we are not going to have family members walk down to the cabins with our campers. I know this is a little tough sometimes, since that's the last few moments that we get with our campers before we depart with them for a week or two. But again, in the interest of safety and having as little contact between families as possible, we will be having staff members escort your campers down to their cabins. Now, if you've never been to YMCA storer camps before, we do have a video that is up on our Facebook page and our YouTube page that is a virtual tour of camp. And you can actually watch as Abimbola and I venture around camp, and we hit up both a lodge and a cabin that is very similar, if not the same, as the lodges and cabins that your campers will be staying in. So you can at least kind of see it virtually that way, even if you're not seeing it up close. For our adventurers, again, if you're coming 1D, all this information, just want to let you know, is the same. It's just happening on that Wednesday, June 23rd. But for all of our programs, this check-in will take place at Malachi on that Sunday, either June 20th or June 27th. Unless you're the adventurers for 1D, then it'll take place on Wednesday, June 23rd. So that is our check-in procedures. If you've got any questions, drop them over there in the chat. I can read those aloud as we go. Before we jump into our checkout procedure, do just want to let you know that our trading post for this year will not be open during the week of camp. So there will not be a camp bank for you to drop any money off during check-in. We also will not be having trail rides go on because our campers that normally would pay for a trail ride actually have a trail ride included in their registration fee for this year. So we won't be having a camp bank going on for you to drop money off. If you are still interested in maybe picking up something at the trading post, though, it will be open on the check-in day and the checkout day, which we'll talk about here in a second. It'll just be a table outside. Right now, we are planning on cash-only sales, but we may have a credit card point of sale feature set up soon, so we may be able to offer that. But that, again, will only be on check-in, which we just talked about, or on checkout days, which we are about to talk about. So for our checkout days, if you are coming for session 1A, checkout day is on Friday, June 25th. If you are coming to, and Christina, I see you got a question there about rapid testing upon arrival. Becky is actually going to get to that in just a little bit. So she will go over the rapid testing. So thank you for asking. I'm sure there was someone else wondering the same thing. So for our checkout day, if you're coming for 1A, that's on Friday, June 25th. If you're coming for 1B or session 1, that is going to be Friday, July 2nd. If you're coming for 1C adventurers, that is Tuesday, June 22nd. And if you're coming for 1D, that is also the Friday, June 25th. Lots of dates. I know it gets confusing. We'll post that here in a little bit if you have any questions about those checkout days. But checkout is going to be very simple. It's essentially a drive-through checkout. So really, you won't even need to get out of your vehicle. So it will again occur at Malachi Dining Hall, the same place that check-in is going to occur, but we'll actually have you just stay in your car the entire time. You'll drive up through our driveway and a staff member will greet you there, and you'll give your camper or your campers names, and we will be able to get them fully checked out in your car. The one thing we do ask, and that is required, is that whoever is picking up your camper has a valid photo ID with them. And the best thing that works is a driver's license. And so I hope if you're driving to come pick up a camper from camp, you're doing so legally and already have your driver's license with you. But that is the best form of photo identification. Now, the people picking up your camper do need to be listed on your camper's release consent form. And that release consent form can be filled out on your CampMinder account through the forms and documents section. But once we have seen that photo ID, we have verified that they are who they say they are and their name is on the release consent form. Our staff will then radio down to let them know that you are there to pick up your camper. We'll have you park in the parking lot there at Malachi, and our staff will then bring your camper and any of their luggage that they brought with them up to camp. And I did miss one thing. I'm sorry. Before you park, we will have medications available as well with our health officer. So you will actually have the person show their ID, confirm that's who they are, pull up and grab any medications that they may have from our health officer, and then park in our parking lot. Now, checkout is a little bit earlier and a little bit quicker than check-in. Since it's just a drive-through, we don't quite need as long a time for the checkout process. So checkout is on those either Fridays or that one Tuesday from 1 to 2 p.m. So again, that is 1 to 2 p.m. on either Tuesday, June 22nd, Friday, June 25th, or Friday, July 2nd. So it is a little bit of a shorter time period, but with it being that drive-through, we found that it goes really fast. And our parents were very appreciative of how quickly it went, and not having to walk through the crowds and trying to identify where their kid may be in a large field of a bunch of campers running around. So that covers the basics of our check-in and our checkout. I see Chris, I saw you ask what time the checkout is. Again, it's 1 to 2 p.m. on your assigned checkout day. If you have any other questions about check-in or checkout, put them in the chat. I'll be sitting here through the rest of the evening. I can answer those questions that get in the chat, or we'll get to them at the end of our Zoom meeting as well if there's anything specific that you would like to know about. And Max is also asking, will the meeting be recorded and available? We will be, it is recording right now, and we'll be sending that out tomorrow once we get it all set. So that's my things to talk about. I'm going to throw it back over to Becky, who has some more of the specifics about the testing, masking, and all those good policies.
And I'm going to throw in one more thing for everybody. If you have mail for your children, if you want to drop off a care package or have letters to give them, I highly recommend that you do it discreetly at the check-in time. You could bring, there's probably campers here on the Zoom, but bring everything back in after your camper gets dropped off, and give us a bag. The Postal Service has just been a little bit slower, and we just want to make sure kids get the mail that you want to get to them. So it's highly recommended, especially for the 1 weekers, that you try to pre-plan your letters. And you'll also get a sheet of paper that says how you can email them notes. We just deliver those once a day, though, in the afternoon. So if something comes late on a Thursday, they probably won't get it on Friday because that's pickup day. So mail's important, and the kids will love to hear from you. Yes, you can send snacks. Just remember there's several other kids in the cabin, and we would like things to be able to be shared. We're trying to live healthy at camp too. So let's get on to masking. This has been the most difficult thing, everybody. We have been following the CDC, the field guide, the ACA, and our state recommendations on masking. Today was another big announcement by the CDC. Well, actually, it was just in the last few days, and I had a meeting that clarified a few things. So, and whatever I say today could change tomorrow. So please just bear with us on this. But our day campers, if your children are coming for our day camp, they will be masked anytime they're indoors, except if they're eating indoors. And they will not be masked outside. I'm really going to simplify this, you guys. So, and we'll be writing up our procedures again and update them in our procedures that will be on our website. It's just been, we've had 4 changes since January, and we wanted to wait till all the changes came in that we're aware of. And then for our summer overnight campers, the kids will be in cohorts. We call them their cabin groups. And within their cabin group setting, because they are going to be sleeping in the same cabin, and they're going to be together for activities, we're not going to require masking while they're in their cabin or when they're outside doing activities. But if they're ever mixing with another group or getting close to another group, everybody's just going to mask up. So we're going to ask that you pack masks, and the kids carry them in their pockets, and there'll be times during the day that when they'll mask up, but it won't be an all-day thing. And we're just really excited that kids can get fresh air and see each other's faces and expressions, and get back to that. That's a very simple description of what we're doing, but in the cohort groups, When they're not near other groups, we're not going to be masked. Um, and we have so much pre-screening going on. We're going to ask that you keep an eye on your kids the 2 weeks before they come to camp, and make sure that they're healthy when you arrive. And we're not asking you to quarantine. We're just going to ask you to keep, make smart decisions about not going to big, large group events where they could pick up something. I know us adults, most of us are feeling more comfortable in the world right now because of the vaccinations, but our kids are under the age of 12 are not vaccinated, and we want to do everything we can to keep them healthy and safe. So with the pre-camp testing, that is, you can bring a PCR test with you. We're asking 1 to 3 days before camp check-in that's done. If it's an antigen test that you're going to be doing, you can do that test that morning before you come to camp, take a picture of it, date it, and put your child's name on the result and bring that and show us that at check-in. For those of you that do not want to do that, we will have a sign up coming out in every 8-minute slots to do antigen testing at camp. And it will be, you will start your check-in process at our North Center entrance. And we've got a system all set up to do that testing pretty quickly. The difficult thing about that, though, is if a child does show up positive, that means you're going to need to go get a PCR test that shows a negative result, and then it might delay the camp experience, or it might just, it's going to take a little while to get through that test and then on to check in at Malachi. We're going to update that as well. We sent a letter out a couple weeks ago about that. It is something that almost every camp that I know and I'm working with is doing. And it's just one of those safety layers of protection we're trying to make sure that kids are healthy when they come into camp. So I'm sure, just please put in questions into the chat about that and look for more details to come out. We expect our antigen testing to take about 15 minutes. We have no idea how many families are going to take advantage of that. So if you want things to go quicker with your family, please go ahead and do the PCR or the other testing on your own. So a lot of changes here. Wanted to talk a little bit about cleaning. We're going to continue on with all the good sanitizing practices we've been doing that we were doing last summer and we were doing actually prior to COVID. The only difference when COVID hit is we really got out in the program areas to clean once a day to sanitize the playground and all the harnesses and things at the climbing wall, and the paddles and the life jackets are something that we make sure are sanitized and ready for kids. So that is still going to be a best practice for us. We've also got a grant, and we have 3 big tents that are going to be going up right outside of Malachi, so we can do more outdoor dining and kids can gather with their cabin group outside under a tent, or we could do some evening activities under there. The outdoors is the safest place, and we want our campers to be outside as much as possible. And of course, we're going to be hand washing. I just was touring camp today with a reporter, and our hand washing stations that are set up outside of Malachi have been installed and cleaned and are ready to go. And today, all the hand sanitizers at all our program areas got filled up and are ready to go too. So we are ready for campers. That was quick, and I know you might have questions, but I'm going to move this on to Abimbola Fajobi now to talk a little bit about programming and cabin groups.
You're still on mute.
Yes.
There you go.
All right. Thank you. Good evening, everyone. And if there are campers that are here right now, hello. If you're still in school, it's almost over. If you're done, welcome to summer. And we're glad you're going to be a part of our summer camp program. So for everyone, summer camp just would not be summer camp without some time-honored activities. I mean, what would a summer camp be without a campfire, without some form of target sports like archery archery, without horses, without swimming, without boating. We will definitely be doing all these things. And a lot of the staff, excuse me, are already planning a variety of creative activities that we can do, bearing social distance in mind. Um, so be prepared. A lot of the traditional things that make camp a camp are gonna happen. Of course, one of the most magical things is getting to know different people and having that great experience with them. So, despite the fact that we may have to do things in our own groups, so if I was leading a group of like six, there could be another group of like five that might be doing the same activity we're doing within the same space. So, for example, at the archery range, um, the, fortunately, our archery range is so large that six could be on one side and five could be on another side with enough space between one another. The same thing at arts and crafts. Um, One group could be at one picnic table outside to the left and another to the right doing crafts outside. Some of the team sports that we're doing will be able to space ourselves and still do those sports. When we go boating, there might be two different groups going boating because whether there's COVID or whether there's not COVID, when we're in the canoes, we're always spaced apart. So some activities will be just your cabin groups, but some activities will be with another group, but you'll be spaced out. Um, some very large activities like our campfire or like an all camp game, we will plan to do those with enough space between us that everyone will be able to have fun and enough space. That's the joy of being in the great outdoors. If for some reason, after I've rambled on, you think, but Abimbola, what about ABC? Or one question comes up, just like Becky said, please do email us if it is a family specific or put it in the chat and hopefully we'll be able to answer it. In the meantime, we are looking forward to seeing you this summer. See you anon.
Nancy Berger's going to share a little bit about our food service now.
All right, thanks, Becky. Hi, everybody. Thanks for joining us tonight. So I'm actually going to start from before we even get into the dining hall. One of the things that we're doing that we did last year, just to help with daily checks and everything like that, as the campers, first of all, Becky mentioned about the outside hand washing stations. So before they even enter the dining hall, we have, for those of you who haven't been there before, we have 3 separate entrances, and each village group is assigned one of those 3 areas. We actually have 2 shifts of meals like we did last year. So youth camp will eat the first shift of meal times and the teen camp will eat the second shift. So we actually are serving 6 meals a day. Before everybody comes in, they go to the hand washing station at their door, and then their village leader or a designated person will be actually doing at breakfast and at dinner time before they even enter the dining hall. They'll do a daily health temperature check and just ask the basic questions, just seeing how they're feeling. So twice a day, we'll be doing that and just kind of an ongoing check to see how everybody's doing in case anything changes in the time from when the kids first get there on check-in day every day until they leave camp. Okay. Then after they come into the dining hall, then the kids will eat by cabin group. So their counselor and the kids that are in that cabin, they have assigned tables that they'll eat at every meal, and that's where they will have their meals. This year, we're going to do a modified version of family style meal service. So modified family style means that and right now, I'm telling you right now, as far as the who and the how, but we're going to stay with modified family style. But the recommendations are that the staff member, the adult at the table, will be the one going up to the indoor of the kitchen, getting the tray of food for their table, bringing it back to their table, and then they will be serving their campers at their table. we will have milk instead of a general milk large where everybody lines up to get milk. There'll be individual containers of milk if the kids want milk. There'll be a water pitcher at every meal, and then there'll be a pitcher of juice or a pitcher of, we call it Zippy. It's like a flavored drink. And if we don't have that, then the other option possibly will be individual drink containers, but they won't be going up to the juice machines or the general milk machines or anything like that. So that'll be a modification of our family style. Again, the counselors will be serving the meals and the food to the kids going up for seconds. So that's how we'll be handling that. If you have a child who has any special dietary needs or allergies, and they need to get something different than what's being served at the general table, the table with everybody, then those campers would be going up to take their plate into the kitchen, and the kitchen staff would actually serve them what they're, like if they had a gluten allergy, then they would have gluten-free pizza crust pizza in the kitchen, and that camper would go up and get that item themselves. Okay. If you've been at camp over the years, we have our salad bars. We won't be doing salad bars just like all the restaurants. That's something we'll be doing different. So what's coming out at each mealtime, especially like lunch and dinner, will be like the main option. If there's a bread that goes with it, let's say spaghetti and meatballs would be an example, then like a basket of breadsticks and then a vegetable. So similar to how we've served in the past. It's just not cafeteria style like we did last year. I think that is everything about food service. Breakfast, it'll have, again, a main course. If campers want just a cereal for breakfast, then the counselor would go up and say, I need 2 bags. We're going to have them individually bagged up, and it'll be like the typical cereals that we've had, like Cheerios, Corn Flakes, Raisin Bran, Rice Krispies. Then they would go up and get an individual baggie for their campers, however many want them for their table. So that's how they can have cereal in the morning. Same with at a mealtime. We'll have individual, let's say for lunch, they're having, not that I ever turn down camp food, but if there was something I didn't care for and they just want peanut butter and jelly, then they'll have an individual baggie with 2 slices of bread and then the individual serving of peanut butter and jelly. And just as a FYI, we also have something called Wow Butter, which is like kind of like a peanut butter. It's soy-based, so it's a peanut butter substitute if we have kids that have peanut butter allergies. So I think that's everything about food service that I can think of off the top of my head.
Thanks, Nancy. We've been working really hard to get everything ready, trying to open up as much as we can, but at the end of the day, we really want to make sure the kids have a great time and but are as safe as can be as well. And those are our goals. And I'll tell you, our horses are so excited to be ridden again, and our small animals are just waiting for company. We, those little pigs and those goats, they're lonely, and they're looking forward to having activity here at camp again. One thing. Go ahead, Nancy.
Sorry, Becky. Can I just take that real quick question? Because I didn't think to mention, if your child is in Ranch Rough Riders, Pathfinder Outback, they will be doing some of their meals, like Ranch may be doing some of their meals out at the ranch when they're riding, so they're not coming back into the dining hall. And as in the past, Pathfinder Outback will be doing some of their own cooking as well. So they may not be eating every meal. So youth camp will pretty much eat all of their meals, teen camp except Ranch, Rough Riders, and the Pathfinder Outbackers.
Nancy, can you address a child that's gluten-free and how we help them get to their gluten-free food?
Sure. Well, most importantly is let us know. So if you have campers that have any special dietary needs or allergies, that information you can put on your health form. That's part of the health form. And then that information then is transferred to our kitchen staff so they know ahead of time how many gluten-free meals we have to prepare, how many have dairy allergy and things like that. And then, like I said, if they're sitting at the table and we announce what we're having. We also announce what the allergens are in it. So if we're having pizza, the pizza crust does contain wheat in it, for an example. And then we'll also say, if you have any, once the food comes out, we'll say, if anybody has special dietary needs or allergies, please take your individual plate and come into the kitchen and talk to the kitchen staff. So that way they'll have it there. And the campers will go up and talk to the kitchen staff, and the kitchen staff will serve them on their plate that they bring up.
Thank you, Nancy. I saw a question in there, do fully vaccinated campers need to wear masks? We're going to do this is our own term, universal masking policies. So, when they're in their cabin groups, in their cabin or in a building, just with their cabin group, they don't need to mask. When they're outdoors doing activities with their group, they don't need to mask. But we are going to ask anytime cabin groups come together with another cabin or with a large group like our campfire, we're going to ask everybody to mask up. It will help everybody feel a little bit more equal. But there's so much time, and it would be really hard to monitor to mass vaccinated and unvaccinated. Our staff are going to be following the same guidance on this, and it will be a very small portion of the time, hopefully for most of the campers, that they'll be masking, but it's just a way that we can be consistent. Derek, what other questions are we missing?
Yeah, I've got two more questions for you. They both relate to testing. One of them is, can you just clarify which specific test, if there is a specific test, that needs to be done prior to arriving at camp?
Okay, it can be a PCR. It can be like a rapid test you can buy over the counter. And we are using the BioNex here at camp, and there are others that are just as good.
And then let me make sure I've got this question correct. If we are not able to procure a test prior to camp, how do we sign up to get a test when arriving?
We're going to email out a schedule for you to sign up for a time slot. So we're not having people having to wait out on Stony Lake Road to get into the parking lot. So our Y has several registration formats, and Derek and I will pick which one we want and email it out in about 10 days. I've been testing out the process on several people, and it's very quick and simple. So we have a board member actually that works in the Napoleon schools in their sports program. And we also have a nurse that is in charge of the nursing school at Spring Arbor College, whose husband is our maintenance and facilities director. And they both have experience, helped us set up the system, and we've been looking at trainings and all that as well. So it's not a medical thing. It's not invasive. The antigen testing is just down here in this part of your nose, and the kids can actually do the swabs. So it's not painful or anything like that. Might make somebody sneeze, but that would be the worst that would happen. So keep checking your emails, everybody. Any other questions there, Derek?
That seems to be it so far. Remember, if you have any questions after this, you can give us a call. Our office phone number is 517-536-8607. But as Becky also said, you will probably have a lot more success if you shoot us an email right now, as we're out in the field a lot. We're actually welcoming some school groups back for day programs. So that email that would be best would be STORER, so storer, at YMCA-storercamps.org. But now I'm getting a couple questions I see in there. Is there a list of things we need to get for camp? And so there's actually a parent guidebook that you can find both on our website as well as in your CampMinder account. If you log into CampMinder and go to the forms and documents section, scroll all the way to the bottom, you will be able to see the parent guide handbook, and it's actually a downloadable handbook that you can have. And there's a packing list in there. It actually goes over a lot of the items that we talked about today, including check-in, check-out, and testing and such. So be sure to look there to get a lot of information, and that will actually be updated as well. If there's any small changes that occur, we will email them out to you, and then we will also update it on CampMinder. Becky, another testing clarification question I see. Are
Yes, you-
purchase home tests, it's okay?
Yeah, that's okay. When you do that, we want you to put it on a piece of paper, the name of your camper and the time and date that that test was administered, and bring that with you, then a picture of that with you to check in. Okay. We are so excited, you guys. It's been a long year without happy voices around camp. And we are just so excited to be figuring out how to sing again. We couldn't do too much of that last year, but this year is going to be definitely a lot of songs and a lot of exploration. And actually our nature is a little bit more natural here since we've been so quiet the last year. So the kids are really going to have a treat in seeing the beautiful things up here at camp that live here year round. The stars are the best actually when it's nighttime, and some kids actually get to see stars for the first time up here because we're away from the city lights.
Really
So
quick,
excited.
I've got quite a few people who are actually privately messaging me right now. Just wondering if we can go into a little bit more of what that packing list should be. So I just want to go over a couple items that I think will actually end up being really good for you to bring to camp. So all our camp beds here are twin XL beds, and I know that always makes Avonbola very happy when I tell him that, but they are twin XL. So if you have any kids who are currently in college, it's the same size mattresses that most dorm rooms have. But we only provide the mattress. We do not provide any bedding. So make sure you bring your bedding. It can be sheets, it can be a sleeping bag, it can be a combination of the two, but also make sure to bring a pillow and a pillowcase. And then the basics you would think of, make sure they're bringing underwear and socks for each day. I would recommend bringing at least 2 extra pair of socks, because if it gets a little rainy around here, one day they're going to get wet from the rain. Another day they're going to get wet from the kids running around in the mud puddles left over by the rain. So make sure to bring that. And it is Michigan, so who knows, one day in June, it could be 82 degrees. The next day it's 50 degrees. So just pack ready for that. And then also make sure you bring your camper brings basic toiletries with them. We provide paper towel and toilet paper in the bathrooms, but make sure they're bringing their own toothbrush, toothpaste, shower supplies, and a towel while they are here at camp. Also, strongly recommend bringing a water bottle. Your kids are going to be very active while they are here at camp. I would say that they will adventure around and walk no less than 4 miles a day while they're here at camp by doing activities and going to and from. And so they are going to be at a fitness level that they may not be used to over the past year. So a water bottle is definitely going to be important. One of the biggest things our health officer sees all the time is kids who are coming in with some sore legs or some headaches. And we ask, have you had any water yet today? And they'll say, well, no, but I had like a cup of juice yesterday. And so make sure that they're bringing a water bottle so they can stay hydrated. We've got easy water bottle refilling stations all around camp. So that way there's like no contact filling and so forth. Also, sunscreen and bug repellent isn't a bad idea either. Hopefully we don't have the cicadas making a lot of noise here at camp, but we definitely will be having mosquitoes making their appearance, and that sun is a lot more dangerous than you suspect.
So I would recommend for easy access is to have your kids' toiletry in some sort of bag or little bucket, so they can take them all back with them to their bunk and store them there instead of around the bathroom sink, because we need to be able to clean and sanitize in there easily. So that was one suggestion. And the other thing is, don't pack too much. I have been at every check-in for 7 years, and I see kids coming for 1 week that it's hard for them to manage all of that. So less is better for the kids. And if you would like to, just less is better, but have them try living out of their suitcase or their duffel bag for a week or so before they come to camp to get used to managing how to where to put their dirty clothes, because usually you have a little laundry bag for dirty clothes, and it would help them if you practice that ahead of time. Now, Derek, could you please take Betsy Partoyan's take her off mute. She has a little bit to share about homesickness. Betsy is one of our alumni counselors and does extensive work in youth development.
Hi, everybody. It's so exciting to see all these parents on the line tonight. As Becky said, I've been with camp for many years. I started when I was 6 and went through age 21 as a counselor and then a director. And so have a lot of experience with watching campers go through homesickness. And it's tough for those who do, it really is. The reality is that for a lot of campers, when this is a very new thing, it's the first time away from home, it can be really unfamiliar. On the other hand, I will say there are a lot of campers who it's amazing. They are so ready to see you bye, and they're so eager to stay with us when they're done. I'm going to share just super briefly what's amazing about this homesickness thing is campers may find themselves sad and scared or whatever toward the beginning of their week or 2 weeks. What's amazing is the way the counselors and the directors both are trained to support campers through that. But also, quite frankly, the kind of people who come to camp to work in those roles are the kind of people who are good at supporting campers. So we find them activities that they will enjoy. We challenge them to try activities that are new. We find, fellow campers to be buddies for them. We check in with each other as staff to make sure that their needs are being met and they're feeling better. 2 summers ago, I had a young girl who was 11 in my cabin, and she was just heartsick for the first 3 days. And we said, keep going, keep going, keep going. And by the end of her time there, she had won the award for the camper who had been most stick with it. And her parents came and she was like, I want to stay another week. So it's a matter of all of those things coming together to make sure that children feel supported and interested and invested and cared about, that lets them be free to discover stuff they've never had the chance to do. And that's what gets them to really grip in and have fun, and also meet people that they've never met before. So I hope that's helpful about concerns with regard to homesickness.
Thank you, Betsy. Well said.
And
Your experience.
I'm sorry, Becky, if I can also add, I also recommend that you talk to your kids about it and say, how do you think you'll be? And if it does happen while you're at camp, what do you think that you could do? What are some things that will help you feel better? So that way you can strategize with them ahead of time, just to help have them be part of the process too. So that's just.
Thank you, Nancy.
Extra. Yep.
Sorry, and I was going to add one more thing. I was going to add one more thing to that as well. Yes, and please, I know there are many veterans that are with us tonight, but please make sure your letters are encouraging and building the children up. We hope you're trying your best. You're meeting good friends. You are trying new activities. We can't wait for you to come home and share with us some of the wonderful things that you have discovered that you are capable of doing that we were not aware of. Positive things like that build up your son or daughter while they are at YMCA Storer camps. And just one more emphasis for the sake of those who asked about the clothing list. Derek did mention that the clothing list is on our website, and it is on the Camp Minder information that you have. So please check that out because that will really guide you. Thank you so much.
Right, I'm going to check in with Derek one more time.
The only question that I've really seen pop up is do we have laundry availability for campers who are coming for 2 weeks? And we do not offer laundry service for our long-term campers. I do see a good note in here from Abby. Her kids have been coming for quite a long time. I've gotten to know her daughter, Hannah, quite well. In regards to homesickness, she noted that the first day is the hardest. They are so busy during the week. Before they know it, the week is over. The cabin mates and counselors are the best at keeping them going. Send jokes in the mail, make them laugh, ask them questions so you have conversations when you pick them up. So thank you for that advice as well, Abby. Or maybe it's even Hannah saying that. I don't know. It may be her on her mom's account at this point. And then just another one for kids in the 1 week program. When is the care package delivered to the camper? We actually have mail call every day in our dining hall, typically around lunchtime. We try to do that. If you are dropping off your item when the camper is being checked in, you can either let the staff know a certain day, or if you just put on the box, please deliver on Thursday or please deliver on Tuesday. We're able to set that aside and deliver it on a certain day. I would definitely recommend, if you are sending things in the mail, send them prior to dropping your child off to camp. As we've seen, the Postal Service is a little bit slower. They have picked up the pace over the past few months, but just to ensure that any items are actually delivered here to camp, especially big care packages, I would recommend either sending them beforehand or just dropping them off here. Like I said, letting our staff know what day you would like them delivered, or just writing on the container what day you would like your camper to receive that item.
I know we're coming to a close. This might not be the brightest thing to be ending a meeting on, but also I know some of you might thinking, what if my child wets the bed? We have discrete ways of taking care of that, and that laundry we will do. And we have tricks that we teach our counselors on how to, set an alarm and get them up at a certain time to take them to the restroom while they're sleeping, actually. So don't worry about that. If something happens with the sheets or the bedding, we'll make sure that gets laundered. So someone needs to ask a different question now so we can end on a different note.
I'll ask a different question just to Mr. Fajobi. What are you most looking forward to about being back at YMCA store camps this summer that all of our campers get to look forward to as well? Well, make sure you unmute yourself though, Abimbola, so we can share in the joy.
Do pardon me, I still have these Victorian ways. I struggle with technology, but the joy of being in the great joyful atmosphere, screaming, jumping up, playing games, laughing, and just building each other up in the most positive way. That's one thing I'm looking forward to. It can be just unspeakable fun, to which we're so grateful there's no law against.
This is our 103rd year running YMCA store camps. We started on 5 acres on Stony Lake in 1918. And it was the same year as that. There was a pandemic that year as well. So we know kids need us, and kids are gonna just have so much fun getting back and being with other kids. And Abimbola said it so beautifully. So we're looking forward to having you all. Don't hesitate to email questions. And okay, I can answer that question real quick. How many kids will be in each cohort and cabin? It just depends on the size of the cabin and the square footage. We do have reduced capacity in each cabin. Some have 5, some have 6, some have 7 campers, depending on the number of bunks that are in there. But I can't give you an exact number because it's different according to each age group. We're also maintaining accreditation ratios as well. So that's another piece that indicates how many children are in the cabin as well. We are still looking for a few counselors for July, late July. If any of you have graduated high school seniors or college students that are looking for jobs, we are gonna, or some alumni or some of you might want to come and help us out. We'll get you trained to be a summer camp counselor. We just need a few more people, and we're doing really well in our hiring, and we're really excited about that compared to some of the other camps that I work with. So we look forward to having the kids and getting back to some fun. And yes, store camps counselors rock, Betsy. Thank you. Okay, I think that's it, everybody. Thanks for joining us. We'll see you soon. And we'll be doing this again for the July sessions in a couple of weeks if you're coming in July and want to listen in again. Thank you all.